We welcome to our Only Fools and Horses podcast, Edwin Trotter Morris. How's it going?
Bonsoir, how are we?
Lovely jubbly. Apart from being an Only Fools and Horses fan, Ed, or an avid Only Fools and Horses fan, I understand you actually do Only Fools and Horses live auctions, and they're to do with charity. Tell us more about that then.
Yeah, we've been doing Only Fools and Horses live charity auctions since lockdown 2020. That's when it all started. It's 3 years ago. So I tell you what, wow, what a last 3 years it's been, really. It stemmed from when lockdown first happened, Easter 2020. Obviously, the nation was in disarray with everything that was going on. So I decided to try and do something to try and make people smile. So even if it made me look like a tit in the process, it doesn't take much to make me look like a tit. I tell you, typical Only Fools and typical Del Boy. So basically, I started doing live challenges on my Only Fools and so on my own Facebook page first of all.
Okay.
So I started doing that and raised just over £3,000 for the NHS. I did 101 charity, and then it was just from a conversation with a good friend of mine who said, "Why don't you try and do something on your Only Fools and Horses page as well?" So I had a chat with two people very close to me that helped me with the page, Alan Garland and Stephen Whitlock, amazing friends of mine. They've been supporters of the auctions from day one. And yeah, so basically, we've been running for over 3 years now. We did one, thinking, see how it goes. And literally from then, I think we've done about 14, without looking back at the books, about 14 to 15 charity auctions for different cast members. How it normally works, Chris, the format is that we use two charities and people donate auction lots. I donate some myself as well. Cast members who I've supported in the past, they've donated autographs, live video, messages. And basically, what we do every 2 or 3 months, we hold an auction on our Only Fools and Horses page, which is Only Fools and Horses social group. It used to be on another page, but just over a year ago, we moved it to the social group. And this will be the third auction on this page now. And we get about 60, I'd say about 60 plus people tuning in for a live.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, it's just gone from strength to strength. I think to date, in 3 years, I think we've raised about £40,000, I think.
Wow, amazing.
The most in a single auction actually was the last one. We raised just over £4,000, and that was partly for Diabetes UK for Sir David Jason. And when I was lucky enough to meet him at the last convention, I handed him a cheque, and he was over the moon. He was blown away with it for £2,075.
Brilliant.
Because he donated a couple of signed items to the auction. So half the money went to Diabetes UK, and another half, the other half amount went to a local charity, Cutby Tigers, which is Derby area. For people who might know Chris McNeil, Robert McNeil, but they lost their mum a couple of years ago. So I asked if they'd like to do a charity in honour of their mum, and her chosen charity was obviously Cutby Tigers, and it's a local community football team. So the other half of the money went to them. So I think the money's been spent on defibrillators for the local community.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, I could, I think I've raised money for Sue Holderness, and after that, I actually met up with her. She invited me to go meet with her to say thank you, and that was an amazing experience, one I'll never forget.
Brilliant.
I've raised money for about 6 or 7 cast members now, and it's absolutely amazing, really. It's without the support of the people who support the auctions, people who donate, people who buy, and also we just we have a laugh as well. You can probably talk. You can probably sense from this video. I can talk for I can talk for Wales about this. The accent.
Hadn't noticed at all, Ed. No, hadn't noticed.
Yeah. thing is, I spent 40 years in Wales, so my is very Welsh, basically. But I'm very passionate about the auctions and, you know, been able to help the charities that we have. And yeah, it's been amazing, really has. So it's we've got one coming up now on the 13th of May, so 2 weeks yesterday.
Okay.
And that's for two charities. The one is going to be for a little baby called Baby Freddie, who's fighting leukemia. It's a story I come across from some friends of mine who are supporting the charity. And he's about 8 months old now, and he's literally what he's going through. I think it just makes you put in perspective, really, what we go through in daily life, Chris. So I wanted to be able to help him and the family. So half the money is going to that charity, and then the other half is going to a charity in honor of John Chalice. I've done a couple of charity auctions with John Chalice since I started the charity auctions, Chris. John was a big fan of them, big supporter. I remember when I wrote to John and we had letters going back and forth. So I did one for John 2020, December 2020, the year before he died. And he was over the moon with what we raised. We raised money for Curing and Wildlife, because John Chalice is very passionate about his wildlife charities. So I raised money for Curing and Wildlife. Then after he died, I think it was September 2021, wasn't it?
It was.
I decided to do something again in John's memory, really. So I did another charity auction, but for his 3 charities this time, because John supported a lot of wildlife charities, as I said. He supported Curing and Wildlife, the Hedgehog Sanctuary, and the Ivory Tusks as well. There are 3 charities John supported. So I raised money for them, and he was so basically, and then Carol, obviously his wife now, she was over the moon with what we raised that time. And then I was lucky enough to meet up with Carol a few weeks ago, and she donated a box of items that were John's, and she said, would I do something for another charity that John supported, which is a donkey sanctuary, so down in the south coast. So I said, yeah, not a problem at all. So the other half of the charity half the funds from this charity, Chris, is going to the donkey sanctuary in behalf of John. Okay. So it's a Baby Freddie and the John Chalice, the legend, in his memory. So quite excited about this one coming up. Might be able to see one of the auction lots behind me.
I was going to ask you about the auction. Yeah, tell us what's in the lots. I know you said about John's, and what else? Oh, look at this. That's quite recognisable, isn't it?
That's going to be a cookie jar, which is going to go in the next auction. So one of the auction lots is going to be a prop lot, Chris, and this is going to be a lot. So we put this back gently. This is
that's heavy, isn't it? That one, heavy cookie jar, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what. Like I said, I don't know if you can see from the camera, but basically, actually, like I said, I love why we're all here. Really, I'm a massive Only Fools and Horses fan, Chris. It's got me through some really tough times. I mean, I've liked it ever since I was a young lad, watching it with my parents. But the last 6 years, since both my parents, it's got me through. I mean, this is what I love about OFAH, Chris. It's a massive community. I've met some amazing people through it, and it's got me through some pretty dark times. And I know it's helped a lot of people. I met Sir David. One of the things I said to him, I said, you don't realise how many people you've helped through some pretty dark times, me included. And he just said it was his pleasure, and he didn't realise. I think that's why he started doing the conventions now, because he didn't realise how many people he touched, basically, and how many people it made a big difference to. And this is why he's kept on doing them, Chris, I think, because he wants to see more people. So yeah, going back to the auction. So that's one of the lots that's going to be in the auction lot. As I said, because it's partly for John, in the last auction, I used some of the items that was donated by Carol and Chris McNeil, and I've still got a few bits left from that one, so they're going to be going in. I've got 2 green grass scripts, which are going to be going into this one.
Wow.
I've got some David Jason signed photos. The auction catalogue is going to be ready by next Saturday.
Okay.
So, like I said, so if you could post a link on your page for the social group.
Yeah.
If they click on that link, and click on the feature link on our page, they'll see all the auction lots. Next Saturday evening, it'll be going live, the auction catalogue. There's going to be 20 to 22 lots.
Okay.
And how it works is that what we do is, I normally go on about 7 o'clock. So I'm going at 7 o'clock on the 13th. I do a bit of a welcome. As I said, I can probably tell I do talk a lot. So we have a bit of a chat first.
That lasts about 3 hours, does it? The welcome, I presume, knowing you.
Earlier, yeah, I think if Trigger and Mr. Bean had a love child, it would be me. So, like I said, how it works. So we go live about 7 o'clock. I normally wait for a few people to join live. And how you join live? Really easy. If you're a member of the group, you just click on the group, and you'll see the live video appear. You just click on that. Then how we do it, like I said, once we got past me talking, we basically start off with lot 1. And how it works is that I normally have most lots in hand, so I'll show the lot on camera.
Okay.
Got 1 or 2. Sometimes I've not got it with me. I've got a photo of it, so I can show a photo, and then because sometimes people have donated things, but rather than send it to me to send it to the winning bidder. So, but 9 times out of 10, I've got the item in hand. So we'd have lot 1. I've got my trusty gavel here, as you can see. So
I thought you were doing a bit of DIY work, and we just caught you hammering a nail in there. But that's your.
Trust me, I'd be like Trigger doing DIY. Not. So basically, that's the gavel. So basically, what we do, start lot 1, and for example, it was a cookie jar, and what we do is then, I see people. So people put their bids in the comments. So when people start bidding, how it works then is that when people say they're out, so they'll start bidding. Say there's 3 or 4 bidders bidding for the cookie jar, and say it's at £100, and 3 people have said they're out. So they just write out in the comment section, and then whoever's the last bidder standing, I'll do 3, 2, 1, sold, and then that's that one. Then we go into lot 2, and then so on and so on. Okay. And then how it happens is, like I said, there's about 20 to 22 lots, and at the end of it, whatever the total is, I always tend to round it up. So say it's £7 or £8 short of, say £2,000. I'll round it up, and we put the extra money in. All the money raised from the lots, 100% of that goes between the 2 charities, 50% straight down the middle. Postage is on top. But if people buy more than 1 item, I can combine postage. But quite often, a lot of people collect, or the last couple of auctions I've done them before conventions or events. So I'll meet people and give them there to save on cost, really.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so it means like the charity gets more then. And literally then I normally give 2 or 3 weeks for people to get the money in. So normally, like I said, on the 13th of May now, all the money will be in by the 31st of May to pay the charities on the 1st of June.
And how would they pay you? PayPal normally, Ed, would it be?
Our friends and family. Bank transfer is okay. Or if someone's collecting cash, it's fine. And then what I do then, Chris, once all the money's in, I pay the charities either via bank transfer, because some charities obviously just pay straight into their bank, and they can claim gift aid through that. Or some of the charities I've raised money for, Chris, they've got Just Giving pages or donation pages. And what I do is I take screenshots of the payments and I put them up onto the group then with reference numbers of the payments. So obviously the group is updated once the charity has been paid. And normally we get thank you letters and everything off the charities. But that's one of the reasons why I do it, Chris, because these charities we're helping, we tend to help a lot of smaller charities as well. It's like now for Baby Freddy, they don't get a lot of fund. They do a lot of fundraising, but because they're not a massive, so this is going to be massive for them. I'm doing this part of one of the reasons why obviously I will also Chosen Baby Freddy's charity is. He's known by two good friends of mine, John T and Carl Turner, and they just raised money for Baby Freddy. So I was keen to jump on board, and you know, I knew the social group would get behind it because his little warrior, like I said, he's not even a year old yet, and he's fighting this. And for John, I mean, like, I was lucky to meet John a few times, you know, like yourself, Chris.
Yeah.
And you know, it's, you know, and Carol is so grateful that we're doing this for John. But yeah, so do you have now? Now I've talked for Britain, or talked for Wales. Do you have any questions, Chris?
Well, I suppose so. With the auction, then, so you'd go live at 7 o'clock. So yeah, cheers. I've not got a drink with it. So you'd go live at 7. You'd have about 10 minutes or so just to wait for people to join.
Yeah.
What page was it on again? Just remind everybody what page it was on again.
I'll send you the link, Chris, so you can put it on your
Oh,
page.
right. Okay. We'll promote that. Yeah. Brilliant.
The Only Fools and Horses. So it's the Only Fools and Horses social group.
Yeah.
If people just go into the search bar on Facebook and go into groups and just search Only Fools and Horses social group, we've got quite an iconic profile picture. We've only ever had one profile picture since we started the group maybe a year and a half ago now. I think it was started actually January 2022 when the social group started, and we had a nice photo of the convention where you got the Capri gear and the van, and Del Poy's mannequin was behind. That was our profile picture for a long time.
Okay.
And the reason for mentioning that is we've just recently changed it to quite an iconic picture that I think a lot of people would know now. At the last convention, there's a lovely photo of David Jason with a young lady called Sarah, who a lot of people would know her for me just saying her name. But the last few conventions, Sarah's gone to the convention, and David and her have got a very special bond. David got up on stage, and there's a lovely photo of David giving Sarah a cuddle, and it's just a beautiful photo. So we've got that as another photo now. So it's a very easy group to find. And actually mentioning Sarah, she's an inspirational young lady. We're going to be doing some fundraising for her charity later on in the year as well, which I'll discuss when I do my next auction.
Yeah.
Like I said, going forward, like I said, Chris, these auctions have been going since 2020. I've sort of tweaked the format a little bit as we've gone. You know, some things work, some things don't. But we're planning going forward. You know, like I said, I love trying to help people, and while people want me to do these auctions, and while people are happy to support them, I'm happy to do them. I think going forward, we'll do another 2 this year after this one. So May the 13th for this one. Then I'm planning one in September. And then I always do one at Christmas. I've done one for Christmas the last 3 years, and they seem really popular. I think we'd always do it the first weekend in December. So people are buying Christmas presents. So
Yes,
it's just proven really popular. So we're going to do 2 more this year. Again, I'll confirm the charities when I go on my next auction. And then next year, I think going forward, we're looking to do 3 or 4 a year. So every sort of 3 months, basically. But yeah, you know, it's absolutely, you know, knowing it makes a difference in helping people. It absolutely, you know, if I can help make a difference, then, you know, it gives me a lot of happiness, to be fair. And I know, yeah, it's just been an honour to do it, really. And
it sounds a good night for everybody, doesn't it? It's a good laugh and a bit of fun, and it's raising great money for, you know, really good charities as well. So it's a win-win, really, Ed, isn't it?
Like I said, we have a lot of laugh. Like I said, I'm a professional by no means at all. You know, I have a go, I do my best, and actually, you know, it's part of the whole charm of it, really. We raise a lot of money for some amazing charities. Like I said, I mean, I could be here for quite a while just listing the people that supported the auctions, really. I know I've mentioned Alan Garland and Stephen Whitlock. Like I said, they've supported with their time, effort, you know, items. I mean, Alan Garland in particular, I mean, he's literally, the things he donates, out of the £40,000 that I've donated, that's been donated through the auctions, I think Alan's probably donated about 10,000 worth £10,000 worth of items.
Wow.
Because Alan does a lot of box framing. He's very talented. So the items that he's donated has raised a lot of money. Like I said, there's people like Stephen Whitlock, like I said, Paul Allen, Declan, Maron, Chris McNeil, Zaggy, the Lego Man. I think a lot of you know.
Zaggy's been on the show, yeah, friend of the show, Zaggy, yeah.
Absolutely. And Randa as well. A dear friend of mine, Randa, she's always supported the auctions. I could be here forever, sort of listing names really. But yeah,
I tell you what, sorry, Ed, what would be an exciting item? The Trotter van, wouldn't it? A Trotter van. I know who would donate that, but that'd be a great item to auction off, wouldn't it?
But talking about that, because someone asked me today, what's the most expensive, one of the most expensive things that's been sold in auction? The most expensive was a John Chalice photo, which we did. I think it was when we did one in his memory in December 2021, and it raised £1,000. And it was a photo of the Batman and Robin photo, and it had a very rare quote. John had put a quote on it as well. That sold for £1,000. It's because it was for charity. But like I said, we've had loads. It doesn't always have to be only Fools and Horses related items, Chris. I mean, 90% of the items are, but we've had things from, like I said, when I normally do a fundraiser for cast members, they'll donate, like I said, autographs and video messages and everything like that. One of the auctions that one of the cast members that we will be supporting, and I think it's likely to be December, will be Anthony Conte, Rico.
Oh yes, yeah. Friend of the show, been on the show again, by the way. Absolute
legend of a chap.
Nice guy, isn't he?
Supporting one of his charities. I think it's going to be a hospice he wants supporting, from the conversation we've been having. But like I said, it's I've already got a few people that have asked me to do charity auction for their charity going forward. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead, really. But like I said, they've just gone from strength to strength, and it's absolutely amazing, Chris.
I was just admiring your optics there when you were talking, Ed. I've got about, I don't know if you can see, I've got about 6 up there. I've just checked if you've got about 14 up there, have you, on your optics?
There's only Fools and Horses, don't get that. So if you can see, I'll just move the camera. So
let's have a look at your collection, yeah.
So if you can see it from here.
Yeah.
I've got a little light up van. I've got my signed movie badge. That's my original cookie jar there.
Booze dog and the cat there. How much is that doggy in the window cat?
What do you expect for £1.25? Who can read in home? And then
and go on, yeah. What else?
No, what were you going to say, Chris? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I've just noticed the Rothman cigarettes. To somebody who doesn't know the show, they think he's left his fags there, but I know exactly what that's from.
Well, there's no need to steal, as you would say.
Yeah.
And so in answer to your question, Chris, behind there, there's going to be 20 optics. So when it's finished, so It's a bar in progress. I've got quite a lot of memorabilia. Like I said, I'm very lucky with the 3 items I've got. But I'd like to ask you a quick question, Chris, rather than to go off sort of topic a little bit. What is your favourite Only Fools and Horses item, and why?
Apart from the Trotter van, obviously, that's I think that speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? I think the holy grail for every fan, Ed, that you've just shown there is the lion cookie jar, isn't it? Really, I think that's the holy grail, because I think I'm right to say it's in every episode, isn't it? Like some props you've got, they're only in a few episodes, aren't they? They're nice props, but I think the lion cookie jar, that's definitely the item. If I had to keep one item apart from the van, it'd be the cookie jar, Ed. I don't know about you. Would that be true of you, or have you got something else?
My top 3, but my favourite item is my van door. I'm not lucky enough to have a van. I mean, I got my understanding of the half, but I think a Trotter van would be a step too far, I think. But
I was lucky, actually, with mine. I bought mine back in 2009. I only paid £2,000 for mine, so I know they've gone up considerably since then, haven't they?
One just sold for 11,000 in good working order. but they have gone for a bit more than that. But yeah, my favourite item is so I got a van door, and one of the reasons why it's very special, well, two reasons why it's very special to me, Chris, is firstly, I got it just before the exhibition in 2020, just before lockdown, when I first met Sir David. If that event had been 1 week later, it would have been cancelled. So I took my van door along, and I wanted David obviously to ask him to sign it. So when I was there asking him to sign it, I said, "Could you put my favourite Only Fools and Horses quote on there?" And he said, "What's that?" "Shut up, you tart," I said. He laughed. It's my favourite. Use that. I use as a point like yourself, Chris, and probably like a lot of your viewers, is I use a lot of Only Fools and Horses lines in my daily, without even thinking about it.
Yeah, come off the collar.
Yeah, I mean, which is great. But when you say when you say to someone, "Shut up, you tart," who doesn't know Only Fools and Horses, that can be interesting.
Quite offensive, yeah.
But literally, I use bonjour to end a phone call and everything.
And that's the van door you refer to, I'd imagine. Is it the talented Neil Huckle that would have created the door for you, or not?
Oh, actually, my van door, actually. So I'm not lucky enough to have a van.
No.
And a van. A good friend of mine, Tim Keevil, who I think you've had on the show. So when he bought his van, it came with a spare door for some reason.
Okay.
So I got the door off him just before the end of 2019, and got it sprayed up for me. So it's a replica door. When I got it signed by David, and like I said, he signed "Shut Up, You Tart." So that was lovely, and I was over the moon with it. And a few weeks later, he brought out a new book. In his new book, which which one it is at the top of my head, but it was his new book in 20. A new book, and in the book,
I've not gone to the toilet. That would be that one, would it? No.
I think if that's the book he bought, that's the book he bought out, Chris, middle of 2020. In that book,
yeah,
he mentions my van door.
Really?
In the book, he says, "I find at the Shamrock Hotel signing a replica door saying 'Shut up, you tart.'" And so that was about my door, and it was, but that makes it doubly special. So that's why it's my favourite piece, really. But I'm really lucky to have some some lovely items, and I think for me, it just a lot of pleasure. Just looking at it would be, I can have a really bad day, and I can literally just look at some of the pieces I've got, and it'll give me a smile, really. Same with like watching episodes as well. I don't know how much time we got left, Chris. I could talk to you for ages. But my favourite episode, I've got two episodes in particular, is The Losing Streak. And actually, when I met David last time, I actually took some playing cards with me. But I give him the Kings this time. And I said, this one is spicy. And I said, "I knew you were cheating, Sir David. That wasn't the hand I dealt you." And he was proper.
Brilliant.
Losing Streak, without a shadow of a doubt. And then the other favorite episode, I had to choose another one, would be Danger XD with the blow up dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, if I'm having literally a bad day, or just want to have a laugh, put that on. I'm just laughing straight off. It's absolutely brilliant. What about yourself, Chris? If you had to choose one episode, what would you choose?
Yeah. I've said a few times on the podcast that I think Fools and Horses at its peak when really Series 6, all brilliant episodes, and Jolly Boys Out. My favourite would have to be Jolly Boys Outing because all the guys are in it. But I think Series 6, you've just mentioned Danger UXD. I think Yuppie Love's brilliant, isn't it? Chain Gang. And yeah, Series 2, you've got Losing Streak. Touch of Glass is another one. I mean, Batman and Robin, Heroes and Villains, I think that one is. Time on Our Hands. And so, I mean, they're all brilliant, aren't they, Ed? I've probably got about 10 that are absolutely 10 out of 10, aren't they? But I think Series 6 Jolly Boys, probably my favourites.
No, like I said, it's got me through some pretty bad times in the last few years. And also, I've met some incredible people who I class as family.
Yeah.
And like I said, in these charity auctions have obviously stemmed from that, and just and the charities that we've helped. I know it's meant a lot to the people that like we've raised money for. I'm not sure how long we've got left, Chris, but just to go back
But yeah,
to...
we're okay for 5 minutes. There is like a countdown. We've got about 5 minutes. I think as well, Ed, what I found 20 odd years ago before the fan club, that you thought you were the only one that was obsessed with fools and horses, but it's quite refreshing that we're not on our own, are we? Well, we are mad, but there's a lot of other people who are mad like us as well, that love it that much.
Well, the thing is, because I've been told I got a problem, but I haven't got a problem. I like it.
Yeah.
It's some of the... it's that enriched in me now. I'll say a phrase or a line from a show, and if you're with someone who knows it, they'll literally will bounce off it. And it's just brilliant. It's but being able to help the charities like we do, and I really appreciate you having me on tonight. It's
Very welcome. Pleasure.
I'd like to say cheers to everyone who supported the auctions. I really appreciate it, and it's the matter. It's
I've got my pina colada now, Ed. Yeah, cheers to that. Anyway, cheers. Yeah. Well, good luck. So, just remind us before we leave you, when's the auction take place, and how do they enter it and bid?
This is the 13th of May, so it'll be 2 weeks yesterday. Obviously, I'll send you the link so you can add it. So people just join the group, and then on the night there, if they keep an eye out on the page, obviously we'll be going live at 7 o'clock on the 13th. And that's the thing I like about the auctions. We've been going for a long time, and we've got our regular members who support from day one. But we have a lot. We have every sort of auction. We have a couple of new people coming on, and it's sort of word of mouth, really. Like I said, we're not a massive group by any means. We've got nearly 2,000 members, slowly growing over the last year and a bit. But it's not about the size; it's the quality.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big it is. It's absolutely. It's actually have been blown away by the support that we've had, really. Like I said, and it's looking forward to the next auction. But people just click on it, and once they're on the page, like I said, a week next, so on the 7th of May, by the 7th of May, Saturday evening, the auction catalogue will be out. If people, for some reason, Chris, can't be on the auction, they can't come on the live, or they can't come on for all of it, we do accept 3 bids. And basically, how you do that is whether message myself, Alan Garland, or Stephen Whitlock through Messenger, and obviously your 3 bids will be logged. I'm still trying to tweak the 3 bids, but hopefully this one will get it spot on. So basically, people put the pre-bid in, and if they can't be on, when I go onto an auction lot, for example now, the cookie jar, if someone's put a £50 bid in for a cookie jar, because I'll start off at £50 and go up, really. But yeah, got some exciting lots for this one. This is my job for next week, is to go through it and just put it into an order. Because how I try and do it as well, I try and create a 4 budgets for our Chris. I try and give something, because not everyone's got different budgets. So like I said, we've got things that range from say £20 to £30, which is still a lot of money, but which go up then to maybe a few £100s. So it gives everyone a chance, really. And so hopefully, I'm hoping it will do well with this one, for Baby Freddy and John Charles's Donkey Sanctuary. Because I know John, again, I'd like to raise a toast to John. He's very sadly missed.
Toast to John, lovely fella. Well, Ed, it's been a pleasure to speak to you today, and I hope it really goes well. Please share it on our page, and I'll tune into that, I think.
Yeah, we've got some, maybe you can add to your collection, like the odd thing that you haven't got. I've got a couple of one-off items as well, so which hopefully will take your interest. But no, I really appreciate you having me on tonight, and it's going to be a packer auction, as John would say, and hopefully we can raise loads of bunts. Hopefully your viewers understand my accent and I have not waffled too long, but I want to try and make sure I got all the information out to you. But thanks again to everyone who supports the auctions, and to hopefully some new people that might be coming on to the auction from, obviously, from seeing this video tonight. Come and support the auctions. It makes sense. And yes, I will bid you adieu. And as Del Boy would say, it's not farewell, it's just bonjour.
Bonjour for now, Ed.
TDFN.
Thanks very much.